Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinox Television. We are live from our central news desk in Douala, Cameroon. In this edition of the newscast, we shall be taking you to the northwest region of Cameroon, where security officials in that part of Cameroon have been tasked to hunt down the killers of a woman recently buried alive in Guzan village in the Batibo subdivision of the Momo division. The order came from the Minister of Territorial Administration in Cameroon, Paula Tanganji, who is currently in the northwest regional chieftain of Bamenda, and equally back in the city of Douala. Several people have been wounded in a confrontation between agents of the Douala City Council and traders. It happened at the Douche Municipal in the economic capital of Douala. Those are the top stories. Stay with us. Thanks once again for joining us on this edition of the newscast. We are on the primetime newscast that is on Equinox Television, live from Douala, Cameroon. It is our central news desk. We begin with one of our top stories. Several persons have been wounded and others severely injured in a confrontation in the city of Douala today. And of course, it happened at the Douche Municipal between agents of the Douala Security, that's the Douala City Council, and traders of the Douche Municipal in the city of Douala. The confrontation resulted from an attempt from agents of the Douala City Council to seize items of traders who occupied unauthorized spaces at the Douche Municipal, commonly known as Marchés Chinois, in the city of Douala. In retaliation, traders resisted the move from elements of the Douala City Council, which led to an outright confrontation with several persons severely wounded. They were equally called to order thanks to the intervention of forces of law and order in the city of Douala. We shall be coming back to that story in subsequent editions of News on Equinox Television. We take you straight to the northwest region of Cameroon, where Minister Paula Tanganji of Territorial Administration has charged security officials of this part of the northwest region of Cameroon to hunt and bring down the killers of a woman recently buried alive in Guzan village in the Batibo subdivision, Momo division of the northwest region. Minister Paula Tanganji was making this statement while making an overview of the security atmosphere in the conflict hit northwest region of Cameroon. Take a listen to Paula Tanganji in the following excerpt.
What we can retain is that there's relative calm in the region, and that the citizens of the region are preparing to participate in the great national dialogue convened by President Paul Biya. The senior divisional officers and the divisional officers should talk to the people so that each Cameroonian can contribute and give his own idea on how the dialogue will be carried out. But the most important thing is that people have to be constructive and that they should make useful suggestions, because the speech of President Paul Biya on the 10th of September was a very important speech and said everything. The terrorists in the bushes still have an opportunity to lay down their weapons and go to the GGR centers. And we are calling on them to make the act of contrition, and when they go to the GGR centers, which are vocational training centers, they will have their redemption. There can be no redemption without an act of contrition. And going to the GGR center, laying down your weapons, is another way of asking for pardon from the state. And that pardon has been granted at that level by President Paul Biya, who is asking these young Cameroonians who have been deceived by unpatriotic Cameroonians that they should lay down their weapons. For any innocent person who has been killed by the terrorists, those in the diaspora promoting terrorism will have to pay, and they will carry it on their consciences so long as they live on it. So they still have another opportunity to repent, because the President of the Republic has opened the door for dialogue. That they should come and repent, put down their weapons, and if they have any contributions to make, they have to make the contributions. But at the same time, the forces of law and order will continue to do their job. Because if you fall into any confrontation with the force of law and order, then they will have no choice but to arrest you and to send you to the judiciary for your activities, for you to respond. But they have to know that Cameroon is a very strong country, capable of self-defense. So there is no point saying that one day we will achieve things which cannot be achieved. The future of the Northwest region lies in the hands of President Paul Biya. And we assess the situation of this woman who was murdered, brutally murdered, and I think that the security services and the administrative authorities are taking precautions and stringent measures so that the true ones and the terrorists should be arrested and sent for justice. So I think that as for now, the security situation is under control. The population are going around doing the activities peacefully. School resumption is still a challenge because we have schools in some areas which are fully resumed, but the other areas it is still very timid. But we want to believe that as time moves on, with the sensitization from the local administrative authorities, people will understand that going to school is important. Because when you tell children not to go to school, it's a crime against humanity. What we can retain is that...
And while handing over government's humanitarian assistance to some internally displaced people living in the Northwest Regional Chieftain Bamenda, Minister Paula Tanganji reiterated that it was just the beginning. The President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, has good projects for the people of the Northwest region of Cameroon. Paula Tanganji in the following excerpt once again.
Started by giving assistance to close to 340 families, that is 1,950 persons. And you can see the joy. You can see the joy when you see people clapping. Is because I've instructed that those who did not have, that they should go and give it to them now. That is a clear proof that we were prepared for the exercise and that President Paul Biya put in a lot of money so that we can assist the IDPs in the Northwest, in the Southwest, those in Bamenda and those living in Bafoussam. So what I want to tell you is that the head of state has instructed that we should continue the distribution of humanitarian relief, and there's a second phase of the program which the head of state has instructed us to study. So after assistance, we will go for development, that is self-development. So we will permit the IDPs to do certain things. For instance, if you are a carpenter, we will assist you to acquire some equipment so that you can be self-reliant. It's very important. And you can see the IDPs, we have been helping them, it's close to 1 year. We have assisted more than 150,000 families nationwide, those in the two regions. That is close to 200,000 people who have assisted, who have received assistance from President Paul Biya. So we are just here to implement the policy of the head of state, give assistance to the local population, to the IDPs.
And we stay in the Northwest Regional Chieftain of Bamenda, where the regional governor, Adolphe Lele-Lafrique, has indicated that the proposals of the people of the Northwest region are currently being compiled to be forwarded to Yaoundé within the context of the Grand National Dialogue announced by President Paul Biya. Adolphe Lele-Lafrique was speaking at the end of a security coordination meeting, which was equally used as a meeting or an avenue to compile the views of the people of the region in what they qualify as a consultative meeting. More with Mbustela in Bamenda.
After a meeting in Yaoundé with Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, during which instructions were handed in view of the upcoming national dialogue, the Northwest Governor Adolphe Lele-Lafrique has last Wednesday chaired the first consultative talks for the region. The meeting brought together administrative and security authorities of the Northwest, teachers and lawyers representatives, among other stakeholders of the region. The aim is getting the Northwest ready for the dialogue come the end of the month of September. Barrister Mba Erimba, Bar Council President's representative for the Northwest, attended the consultative talks.
Dialogue in the context of our prevailing situation should be interpreted to go to the root causes, because anything short of addressing these issues to the root causes will only turn us around and get to the same point.
Regarding what many have termed preconditions, the barrister says,
in conflict resolution, when we have a very deep-rooted crisis like what we have in the Anglophone Cameroon, issues like amnesty, the call for a ceasefire, the designation of a neutral and independent moderator, the choice of a convenient venue to both parties should be regarded not as preconditions but as enabling conditions that ensure a confidence building mechanism.
Many have died, homes have been shattered, every sector of life is limping and everyone lives in fear. The legal mind holds that the dialogue is better late than never.
It is a good thing that the head of state has called for dialogue. It is usually said better late than never. Our fervent conviction as lawyers that there should be no restriction as to what topic should be discussed. Every topic should be on the table. Amendment, review of the constitution should be on the table. We are the only country I seem to understand that has a constitution that the only provision that is subject to amendment is the presidential mandate. Every other thing becomes taboo. So everything to us should be put on the table, and everybody should be included.
After these meetings, those to sit on the dialogue table on behalf of the Northwest will be earmarked.
And senior divisional officers of the 6 divisions making up the Southwest region of Cameroon have been charged to bring separatist fighters to the table for consultations. The call was made by the #1 administrator of the Southwest region of Cameroon, Governor Bernard Okalia Bilai. Derek Jato reports from Boya.
After the announcement of a ground national dialogue by President Paul Biya, the lone question the Southwest authorities are working on is how to convince separatist fighters to come to the dialogue table.
Those who carry arms against the state, they were not in the meeting. That is the more reason the governor of the Southwest region charged all the 6 senior division officers to go back to their respective divisions and engage in meaningful dialogue, especially with those who are in the bush with arms, for them to tell us their grievances, so that in turn we'll still channel them to the governor for onward transition.
And at the launch of a consultative conference in Boya, the Southwest Governor Bernard Okalia Bilai stressed on sincerity as his collaborators go to the field to fetch and bring those in the bushes with arms.
I would like to appeal to all parties to make very sincere and pertinent contributions which can bring a positive impact in our quest for peace and a return to normal social life.
And much is expected from the senior divisional officers of the region. For Juan Lawrence, the senior divisional officer for Ndian Division, home of the Cameroon Prime Minister and head of government, also sat in the meeting. Talking with Equinox Television, we started by asking him how will he bring what from Ndian Division next meeting with the governor.
Those that have laid down their arms, it's negotiation. You tell them the importance of having your freedom. You tell them the importance of leaving the bush. You tell them that carry arms against the state will never succeed. In no way, you cannot succeed. And that is why some of them came and surrendered themselves to me, and I was able to brought them to here, and in the centers they are fine. You can go and find out for yourself. So I cannot tell you that I will bring this or that package. We are going to meet those who carry arms against the state.
Strategies, no doubt, must be carefully mapped out, and after spending over 6 hours here at the Boya Council Hall with some stakeholders, Southwest Governor Bernard Okalia Bilai immediately convened another in-camera meeting at night, this time only with his senior divisional officers of the region and security close aid. The meeting lasted for another 5 hours, but pundits say these restless moments are normal, for the dialogue is just days away, and everyone is waiting to see what Southwest region will bring to the table in Yaoundé. And for the Grand National Dialogue to succeed, The groundwork must be done better now.
And in response to the orders of the Southwest Regional Governor Bernard Okalia Bilai, the Senior Divisional Officer for the Meme, Ntundong Chamberlain, has convened a meeting for elite of the Meme Division and equally invited some individuals said to be separatist leaders to this meeting that is expected to take place tomorrow at the Kumba City Hall in the Meme Divisional Chieftown. In that communique seen on the screen, the #1 administrator of the Meme Division has invited some individuals of these localities, and of course one of a locality in the Meme Division known as Diani, another individual from Marumba, and one from Metakwatas, Teke, Malende, and other places within Kumba and parts of the Meme Division. The names cited by the Senior Divisional Officer have been qualified by most persons as leaders of separatist armed groups in the Meme Division. It is still uncertain if these leaders will respect the invitation of Ntundong Chamberlain by attending the meeting built for tomorrow in Kumba, chieftown of the Meme Division of the Southwest region of Cameroon. We move away from the Southwest region to the South region of Cameroon, where a teacher in a school known as Government School Vebe in the Ja and Lobo Division is currently being detained. He is detained for having pronounced the name of an opposition leader in one of his lessons dished out to his learners in that part of the South region of Cameroon. More with Immaculate Fogwe.
Natang Fongang, a 36-year-old English teacher at Government School at VBFC, 28 kilometers from Sang Malema in the Jan Laba Division, South region of Cameroon, has been behind bars since the 14th of September 2019. He's been accused of having pronounced the name of Professor Maurice Kamto during one of his lessons. The divisional delegate of secondary education for the Nja and Lobo division, alongside the principal of the said school, are accusing Natang Fongang of taking a stand against the head of state without exactly saying what he said. Our colleague used words that were out of place. I would not want to repeat what he said, but the students who were in class can testify about what he said. The English teacher started lectures by asking the students what is happening in Cameroon since the year 2016 in Nosso. The different testimonies made by the students shows that he made statements that were against the head of state. The accusations have been denounced by the Teachers Syndicate, who say the reaction of the administrative authorities of Sang Malema is suspicious. It is out of place for a divisional officer who is expected to defend the territorial integrity cannot notice when administrative authorities jointly take a stand on an issue like this concerning someone. It means they have been at loggerhead with the victim way back. According to reports, the misfortune of Natang Fonga began few months back, even before his arrest by security forces.
Inhabitants of Ngongham neighborhood of the Northwest Regional Chieftain Bamenda have decided to brave the odds, pick up tools, clean their neighborhood that has been intoxicated in order not to be contaminated. We have more with Inocenaze in the following report.
Bamenda town, known for its cleanliness, is now difficult to be recognized these days as a result of the armed conflict. Heaps of garbage have been abandoned on streets, which decay and intoxicate the environment with unpleasant smell, with adverse consequences on health of the population.
Yes, so there are many consequences. Normally we have this ambient air pollution, who bring complication, who bring toxicity of the respiratory tract and the lungs, with so many complications such as cough, catarrh, allergy, and so there are many. And we know that all the waste are colonized by rats, cockroach, mosquitoes, fly, and those things sometimes can lead to cholera, malaria, some disease like typhoid, and some intestinal tract infection also.
Inhabitants like those in Gomram have been sensitized on the hazards and encouraged by Women in Action Gender-Based Violence Cameroon to get rid of the sewage.
Cameroon, under the sponsorship of UNDP, carried out sensitization. So what Cameroon is just standing here to wash the baby, not that we contributed the money, but we simply just created awareness in them, and they saw the reason, the danger, and they came out with this initiative, and today they are carrying the waste.
For this exercise to go successfully, locals had to contribute some money to give the neighborhoods a clean look.
We all agreed that with the 500 francs we collected, we are going to make sure that the debt that we have in our community is carried away. And this is just what we are doing now. So it's a success and we are happy. We hope that they'll be able to separate waste and will maintain a clean environment, because cleanliness is next to godliness.
According to our Cameroon, a non-governmental organization fighting for a healthy environment, abandoning decayed rubbish multiplies bacteria in the atmosphere, thereby jeopardizing health of the population. The residents say such a move is also to avoid a nasty name from visitors in Bamenda town.
We just did like showing the inside thick fence. Now for that reason we think we must try to clean up today.
Just like in other neighborhoods in Bamenda, have pledged to brave the odds to get rid of any garbage for their own sake, while hoping to see everything return to normal in the restive region.
Up next is Talking Point. Thanks. Thanks for joining us on the second part of news. It is Talking Point, and we are receiving Reverend Nta William Tse. He is a peace crusader, and of course in that capacity being received here to talk about some key issues at a time where the peace is threatened in Cameroon. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
You are a peace crusader. You live in Cameroon. Cameroon once prided as the paradise of peace in both Central and West Africa, and even the entire African continent. But now we are into the crisis in the Northwest, the crisis in the Far North region, post-electoral crisis. It's obvious that the peace is probably moving away from Cameroon. What is lacking as an expert?
Well, I think Cameroon has enjoyed what we call negative peace in the past, where many people thought that they were actually a peaceful country, whereas there were certain things that were bubbling, like the volcano. They were bubbling within persons, and it has come to a time where the magma has come out and it's so hot, and a lot of people, stakeholders, they have different way to put it. But I think that what is lacking in Cameroon has been the whole issue of injustice, which seems to be the order of the day, corruption, and other ills of the society. And these in itself, they have embodied itself into a way that people now can see the expression in an escalation where a lot of people have lost their lives, where we are now crying that we are brothers, we are families, and there need to be peace.
I got from you that something was lacking before the grudges that Cameroonians had in mind went to this level. You mean if there was justice, irrespective of the grudges, we wouldn't have been where we are today?
Sure, every society that is just, every society that respects human rights, every society that the people express themselves freely is bound to progress. And we have witnessed within our own circle in the country that we have not been able to reach out.
Authorities have always said that sometimes you might have your points that are justifiable, some grudges, but there are many other ways they think those things could be presented to the powers that be, not necessarily raising up arms or going the violent way. Do you buy that idea?
Yeah, I buy it strongly, not just buy it, I buy it as an expert in peace work, because we also believe that you can change the world without hurting the world. You can use a non-violent approach in transforming a situation where you believe things are not moving and create your impact.
Good, you buy it, but you are in Cameroon. You are a peace crusader. You are not the only one in Cameroon, I presume. But it's happening that way. Have you people failed in your duty? What peace are you crusading for? At the same time, Cameroon moving from one peaceful country to the situation we're having now.
Well, I believe peace is a process. It's not an event. That's one of the things that a lot of people fail to understand. We engage.
You peace crusaders in Cameroon just embrace the concept just now?
No.
Or you say it's a process?
We are engaged in peace building approach. And a peace building approach, you go right down to the roots to get the causes, you get the problem and the effect.
Then you people are accepting your responsibility that at least you failed at one point. You peace crusaders, you failed at one point.
The enabling environment also tells a lot.
Okay.
We've been doing the work by the enabling environment, but now we are coming out to join the states and the other actors to see that we preach peace, and for people to see the need for us to live in peace, which is, for me, it's very, very important.
You are part of a delegation that met the Prime Minister, head of government, yesterday as a peace crusader. Is that a good move so far to address the issues in Cameroon, the move taken by the government of Cameroon? That's the dialogue, the national dialogue.
Well, we met the Prime Minister yesterday as a team from the All Anglophone General Conference, and it was all basically for us to contribute to the national dialogue that has been called by the head of state, and we're frank with our point and speaking the truth from our heart, because a man of God will always speak the truth, talking from the basis of the foundation of Jesus Christ, and that's what we insist on, truth and justice. That let everything be done on that background, and Cameroon will enjoy peace.
And you talk, he listen, and you have the faith. That's what is within Christendom is the faith. You have the faith that at least they will act this time around after having listened to you people.
A man of God is supposed to be optimistic, and I build my faith on the solid rock of Jesus Christ, and I know that each time I pray to him and I table whatsoever thing is going to be positive. So we are very optimistic to give the government the chance to do whatsoever thing that God has touched their hearts to organize this dialogue. Let's feel that. I hope that things will be okay.
Yes, peace crusaders in Cameroon will be joining their friends worldwide to commemorate the War Peace Day tomorrow. Will it not be pretentious to be talking about peace in an environment like Cameroon, where we are, especially for peace crusaders who are resident in Cameroon, those who are even there at the start of the crisis as it is degenerating and worsening?
Well, we are not pretending. Each person has to play his or her role. We got to play our role as peace crusader. And the role we are playing is to join the rest of the world to continue to sensitize the public on the need for peace.
Okay.
We will not get tired because people feel that we are not working. But I think that we got to do our role wheresoever duty calls. I've been out for 2 weeks without reaching my home. I continue to talk this peace. Some people say you should talk about justice. Of course, you can't get to peace when there is injustice. So the fact that we are preaching peace is the melting point and the end point, meaning that the other things should be taken into consideration. So this is what we have been asking our people out of love to join us in this very important crusade.
In science, logic is important, chronology is equally important. Those who have, put forward the arguments that you guys should talk about justice first before peace, they might be right. Why are you people living at justice and only talking about peace? Preaching peace to people who are being unjustly treated?
Yeah, if you got me well, I said we deny injustice.
Yes.
We deny all
the problem of injustice, at least it should be solved first before moving to another stage.
No, they are the same. It's like a daughter to a father. They are the same.
Yes.
We are talking about the same thing, about humanity. And all of them complement each other. So if, for instance, the PCC Peace Office is engaged in conflict transformation, engaged in peace building and things like that. So
before we move out, you are of the PCC. We equally have PCC. We've seen reports, on papers of some internal squabbles. We might not have points to point it out. PCC equally with challenges.
Yeah, every house has its own problems. Even you and your family members, there are problems.
Yes.
And I believe that the church as an institution also has challenges that at a certain point we also need to talk about them. I don't deny that fact.
We are caught up by time. We thank you very much for having responded positive to our invitation. We had a peace crusader, an expert. He's equally a man of God, Reverend Ta Williams, and of course, who joined us to talk about peace today. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all we had time for. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.